What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday to all of you. The weekend is here. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on odds.com. The odds headquarters. We have a giant card again today, just like yesterday. Yesterday was a middling day. Ended up 5-4 plus 0.55 units. Got the Jaguars game completely wrong. But, it'll happen early in the season. I did think the Jaguars would put up more of a fight than they did. And I didn't take the Minshew prop, which somehow went over. Fitzy, though. Fitz magic looked good last night. And the Dolphins looked good. But we easily cashed our NCAA football game. NBA Lakers first quarter was very easy, a breeze. The first half, I was cheering for you guys, and you guys got it. It was touch and go there at the last few seconds, but you guys got it. It's a nice job, all of you guys, on the Lakers first half. Overall, 5-4, 0.55 units. I guess we'll take it. The week has been excellent. 11-5, up, I believe, 5.42 units. I'll have to double-check that. But the week's been great, and I'm pumped up. And we got Conor Mac on the show today and a beautiful card for us to hammer. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Buzz Nuts ready to get to work. Joe Free says, take a look at Tyler Hero's props. I took over 16.5 points. Joe Free, I've made a rule with player props is that I never take a prop on a points over after a career game for a player. I never do it. Not that I don't think he'll get over 16.5. It's just a rule I have. I never do it, and it's succeeded for me. So it's not that I disagree with the move. It's just I'm going to stick to these rules. Brandon Lugo says, how about them Jays? Tried to warn people off my Yankees. They only care about health for the playoffs. They have no value right now. Let's get this weekend cash. Yeah, that was my best bet on the card yesterday was Blue Jays first 5, and it was an easy casher. If I hadn't screwed up that Red Sox-Orioles game so badly, it would have been another nice day in MLB. Ended up 3-3, down 0.45 units. So, it is what it is. Ostino Liggett in the house. There's Nilo. Nilo. Cost me one of your suicide picks. Yeah, tough, Nilo. Sorry about that. Kind of led us into the fire there. This is my fault. Birdie tried to warn us. Lots of cappers tried to warn us. But Captain Marvel ready to get to work. Nice to see you, Captain Marvel. Michael Irvalina says, love that Celtics first quarter you put out last night. Tailed it right after. Yeah, I'm already on the Celtics first quarter. I just didn't think that -1 was going to be available when I woke up. And so many games to cap this morning, I haven't looked. So let's see if that is available here. It's not available. So it's -1.5 now, -110. I got -1 and -120. It's an expensive 10 cents, but I didn't think it was going to be available. I like it a lot too, Michael Irvalina. It's we're really, when we're capping NBA, which has been so enjoyable, and what angle is what we've been using? What angle do we have the most confidence in? And we've done a really nice job with first quarters. Last in game 4 of this series, we took that first quarter under it. We cleared that by 6 points. And last night with the Lakers, we took the Lakers first quarter. We cleared that by 5 points. And I think the Celtics come out fired up. And we'll see if the Heat can match that. And they were great in the first quarter in game 4. And we can see if that can follow up. But I just think the Celtics come out fired up. So it's a really nice look. And I'm happy I locked it in. I locked it in before the Lakers game ended. Alexei Popovich ready to go. Gio Mercedes. They weren't all Gio because I screwed up that Orioles-Red Sox game so badly. Would have been a gorgeous 5-2 day. Shant ready to go. We got Hustle Wilson doing exactly that. Hustlin'. Jason Lowry says Jags suck. Yes, and there's Birdie. He tried to warn me. He tried to get me off. The Jags are his team, and he wouldn't bet them. My fault. Xavier Oliver. There's Jin Rummy. Jeffrey Murnane. Steve Priest. Big Murph. Steven Glass. Buzz Nuts. And Joe Free grabbed Minshew over 262.5. That was a sweat. At my book, it went from 267.5 to 266.5, and I was like, I think it's good that I stayed off of it. But part of the reason why I stayed off of it was because I thought the Jags might be ahead in the game. If you had told me the Jags are going to be down by those, early 28-7, I'd be like, man. And I don't know if you guys heard about it. Big bet was made yesterday in Jersey, $798,000 on the total in the Thursday nighter, over 41.5. Over 41.5. So it was minus 270. It was juiced to minus 270. And let me just get the particulars up. But I kind of kept an eye on it because I was like, man, crazy bet. Chris Brady shared it with me, a low bagger. And so $795,200 bet on the Dolphins Jaguars over 41.5 at minus 270. And when they missed that extra pointer and it was 28-13, I was like, oh, geez, this guy going to lose $800? But that field goal got him over it. Crazy betting. Crazy betting. All right, Christian Rivas ready to get to work. Art Hayes back in action. Maxwell Smart. Love you, Maxie. Johnny K, Mr. Wisdom, Only Hunter, Chief Billion. Art Hayes on Miami Heat moneyline. Dog easy. Look, I get it. I definitely wouldn't talk you off it. I just think, what do I have control over? Celtics coming up fired up. That's what I think. Well, I shouldn't say control over. What do I think is my best angle? Control over. What am I talking about? Von Polo in the house says no notification today. I don't know why that is. I have no control over that. Sorry about that. Steve Priest says Scherzer trying for 500 for the 11th straight season and to tie Kershaw for the longest active streak. I was wondering if Scherzer was going to be fired up for his last start of the year. There's Razor Sharp picks in business. Great to see you, Razor Sharp. All right, we've got a lot of work to do. We do have college football that we will be breaking down. UTSA and the points. Swerving, it's just, I don't know what to do with this spot. It's fishy. UTSA should be a bigger favorite than 6.5 points. And I don't know. I really want to talk it out. Something just doesn't feel right about it. Christopher Carter. Mike Venter says Heat finished the job tonight. Sportsman of the Year ready to go. Ick Schnizzle. Yeah, I heard Razor was handing out giant winners. Ick Schnizzle picked up a few hundo. Razor, man. That's what he does. That's what Razor does. Jojo Rich. Talk sports with JT, the czar. All right, it's time to get to work. It is time to get to work. There's Dean Eden. Backdoor cover. Jason Lowry agreeing with that first quarter. Same with Jojo Rich. Johnny K says, I don't know. I think the Celtics got another win in them. It wouldn't shock me. I tell you that. It wouldn't shock me. But I'd love that we got in on that -1, got it locked in. And I think that'll be my only move in NBA. But we'll break it all down and talk. There's Corey Simmons, D Nice, Silent. Silent, yes, it does happen sometimes, sadly. Silent off a rough night. Yeah. But we've had a good week here as a group. Let's keep that going, and let's bring in our special guest on today's show. It's Friday, which means Conor Mac in the house. CMac, how are you, my man?
I'm good. How are we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Been a good week. How's your week been?
Pretty good. Last night was all right. I had 2-1 in baseball. I had the O's and Blue Jays. If I took the A's, I thought there was just too much value at plus 200. They lost. Yeah. I had the over in the college game, and Denver came up good for me. I took the Jags late. I got my 2.5, but that was an L. So
nice. That's not so bad. I went 3.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah, I went 3-3 in MLB, down 0.45 units. I also was on the A's. Like, I opened the day 3-0 in MLB and gave that all back. I had a fortunate situation though that happened to me. One for the Pirates-Cubs game. Yeah. We're all going to take that first 5 under 5. I went to bet it, and it moved to 4.5. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to bet it at 4.5. And then I was sitting there after about 45 minutes, hour, and I was like, and I had Jin Rummy going through my head because Jin Rummy liked the under 9 better than the 5, liked the full game under. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go take the full game under 9. And so I was fortunate to get that.
I watched that game. So, yeah, Cubs didn't hit a lick. Nothing. I think they had 2 hits. Yeah, nothing. So that was nice. 7-0.
Yeah, but we talked about whether the Pirates were live, and I wish we had jumped on it. But I watched that game as well. There's Tyrone Coleman ready to go. And then just to follow up with yesterday, NFL 0-1, so now 7-8 on the year. Don't like that. And then NCAA football was nice, catcher, and then NBA was we're looking good in NBA. In NBA, we're just under my goal, double-digit units up, 9.42 units up right now, hitting at 53.6%, 165 wins, 143 losses, ROI over 3%, which I'll take every day of the week. All right, Talisman ready to go. There's DJ Big Boss. Let's get to work. Let's get to work right now. I know this is going to be a little bit out of order, but what CMac and I have been doing is getting through the double headers. So that's what I'd like to do. There's 3 of them. Let's get through the double headers. And we don't often make moves on them. And when I have made moves, they haven't been successful. Let's start with Flaherty, Lindblom, Cards, Brew Crew. This is a interesting spot. So CMac, at first I was like, well, I don't want to have anything to do with this. And then I started digging in a little deeper just so I would be able to talk about it. Not because I really wanted to bet it. And some very interesting things came up through it. So let's talk about it. Cardinals, Brewers, the odds have just come out. Flaherty, Lindblom. You can get Flaherty in the Cards anywhere between -128, -137. This total opened up at 6, but some books, and it's juiced heavy to under, some books have moved it to 5.5. And 78 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour sideways right across the diamond. Flaherty 4-2, 4.84 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. He started the year like a possible Cy Young winner, and then he completely fell apart. He looked awful. And one of those terrible starts came against the Brewers. 9 runs, 8 hits, 2 homers in 3 innings. And that was just 2 weeks ago, September 15th.
Yeah.
Cards are in second place in the NL, 2.5 games behind in the NL Central, 2.5 games behind the Cubs. Brewers are 4.5 games off the division pace, 1 game out of the second wildcard spot. And the reason why I say there's interesting stuff going on, obviously Flaherty, he comes back and has a really good start. Struck out 11, 1 run on 2 hits in 6 innings against Pittsburgh. We know Pittsburgh worst in the league against righties. But CMac, the issue here is Brandon Lugo says I got Flaherty Suter. I got Suter in game 2.
I got Flaherty Suter.
You do?
I do. And then I got Lindblom De Leon in game 2.
Oh, I've got Flaherty Suter too. Okay, well, that changes things. That changes things a great deal. But still, okay, the Lindblom stuff is interesting. Okay, so we have Flaherty Suter now. We have Cards who had lefties better than righties. Thank you guys for that, because I was going to get into this Lindblom thing. We can get into it in game 2. So Suter 2-0, 3.58 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, 34 Ks, 4 walks, and 27 2/3. He's been good. And, he'll only go 3 or 4. But this takes me completely off the game because I want to fade Lindblom. And we'll talk about why. And I know that I've been hating on Ponce de Leon, but he's looked pretty good last 2 starts. Cardinals Brewers game 1, I'm off then. Are you going to make a move here? I'm
off too. There's no way I want to touch it. Not at that total either because of the 7 innings. There's nothing Flaherty's a good, but his ERA doesn't look that good. I know he struck out 11 his last outing, but these 7-inning games and the totals, because I like to look at that in a game like this in a doubleheader sometimes. I don't like it. Brewers lost last night 4-2. It's a pass for me, for sure. What would you be looking at? Would you take Flaherty if you were going to play the game? I mean,
no, it wasn't about – I don't know what Flaherty's going to do.
Yeah, that's why I'm –
He's so volatile right now. What I was going to do, though, was question whether we should fade Lindblom. So I imagine – so we have got the switch. Thank you guys for letting me know that the switch has happened. So we have no line on the – oh, we do have a line on the second game. But I'm sure it's taken off. There's a line at a few books. There's not a Bet365 because they have the pitching change. But 6.5, and they pick them. Okay, so what do you think about how would you handle a situation like this? So Lindblom won his last start 5-3 against the Royals, 1 run, 3 hits, 5 in the third. He's looked good against the Cardinals this year. But his wife is something's going on with her at the hospital. So he stayed behind in Milwaukee. And he says it was a hard week. And he started comparing it to – so we don't know what's going on. It's not COVID as far as we know, but due to the COVID restrictions, he can't be in the hospital with her.
Yeah.
So it says he's been such a hard week, but his focus is good. I don't know how he can be focused on anything other than his wife right now. And Ponce de Leon, whose numbers are so bad, I think when people look at the numbers and they start capping this game, they'll be like, well, I mean, Lindblom, 4.81 ERA, but look at the whip, 1.23 whip for Lindblom. He's been unlucky. 1.50 whip for Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon struck out 18 batters in his last 11 innings, 2 real nice starts. And also, the fact that they're using him in this big of a game tells me that his stuff is really good right now.
I agree, but I want nothing to do with him. I would pull the over here if I was going to play anything in this second doubleheader game. Lindblom's ERA is 4.8. Not the first game, but this game with De Leon, I know he's thrown a couple of good games, but I've seen him pitch 3 or 4 times this year, maybe more. And
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Captain Marvel giving a shout out to our Conor Mac waking up at 7 a.m. Before 7 a.m. His show starts 7 a.m. How about this? I'm going to take it a step further.
Okay.
There's no way I won't bet the Cardinals in game 2. There's no situation that will arise that I won't bet them. And this is why. If the Brewers win game 1, then so much will be on the line for Ponce de Leon to finally step up for this franchise that's believed in him so much. If the Brewers lose game 1, their season's over. They're not going to get the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think they'll kind of let go. And the Cardinals.
So you think Brewers lose game 1? What do you like? Are you saying you like the over?
No, I'm going to bet the St. Louis Cardinals in game 2, regardless of what happens in game 1.
Regardless. Okay.
I do want to see what happens. And I do want to see what the market does. But
okay.
Birdie I would say in my experience, when a pro athlete says they're focused when their wife is sick, I trust that is the truth. Could be wrong, but there's no reason for them to lie. This is a different situation, Birdie. If Lindblom was sitting at his wife's side in the hospital, and we weren't dealing with all these issues going on outside with COVID, then I would say yes, get him out to the mound. He's been sitting with his wife for a few days. I bet you he's been thinking about this game, trying to take his head away from what's going on. But he can't be with her. And that's got to drive him crazy.
Yeah. It's real life. You guys actually take this, out on the field. They're human beings. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, Jimmy.
But regularly, Birdie, I would agree with you. But not with this COVID, him not even being allowed to be in the room with her. It's got to be driving me crazy. So I'm going to be backing the Cardinals in game 2 with Ponce de Leon on the mound. And there's no situation I don't think that'll rise that will get me off of it. Okay.
And you have real quick, you have a line on that? The Cards are getting plus 120 in that game? The second game, you said?
No, right now,
because
they're going to be taken off the board quickly.
Okay.
Right now, let's just pick a book here and see what they've done with it. Game 2. Yeah, so there's been no switching. The Cardinals did open as a dog plus 105.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
All right, so there's the doubleheader. Okay, we're spending too much time. We've got so much to get through. My fault. I'm going to try and speed this up. Let's move on to Rockies, Diamondbacks. This is another interesting situation for you guys. If you are betting this doubleheader, one is that the roof is closed in game 1 and open in game 2.
Come on.
Yeah.
These guys. We'll close it one game, we'll open it. I just think it's such a joke. Yeah, damn.
But not everybody's going to know about that.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
If you want to, and look who's pitching in that second game, Antonio Santos and Taylor Clark. I mean,
I'd lean over.
It's 98 Fahrenheit at first pitch in game 2, 4 miles per hour out to right center. Let's see if we have lines in this doubleheader right now. Let me move over there. Okay, so Senzatella, Gallon, the total opened up at 6. There's a couple books at 6.5. Gallon is a huge favorite at minus 172. He's not been very good of late. And Senzatella's been the best pitcher on the Rockies. Last 2 outings, beat the A's with a complete game.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, him at plus 155, I'd take a shot at that. And I'm going to look at that. I think there's just too much value there.
I agree. I agree with the way Gallen's been pitching. Colorado also, been bad all year, but they've won 6 of his 11 starts. He's just – I think that Senzatella is the play here. 3.13 ERA, 1.12 WHIP. Now, remember, we have no Arenado.
Yes, he's been that. Yeah, that's hurt their lineup lately for sure.
And then we have all these stats that if you were not focused in on what Senzatella is doing this year, you would want to fade Senzatella. 2-5 with a 6.02 ERA in 12 career games, 8 starts against the Diamondbacks, but he's better at chase. And Gallen just hasn't looked good lately.
Yeah, this is a value, I think. I think the line, some of these lines right now and what's going on, not in all these games, but some of these teams that have wrapped it up and stuff, they're 20 cents higher than they should be, I think. At some 15, 20 cents. So this would be a play. I don't love doubleheaders. I might play this game. We got a lot of games here to go, but I'm definitely going to star this one. I might pull the trigger on this game one.
Well, I'm going to pull the trigger on the game one, okay. But I'd sure like a first 5, and I'm not getting it. I'd sure like to cut a couple innings off this game, and it's not available. So cash action bets on Arizona. Okay, so I'm going to take the Rockies in game 1. I would like to take them first 5 if that ever becomes available. Usually it does become available.
It should.
And if not, I'll take full game. And then in this over for game 2, I think it's a real sneaky over. I don't know if everybody has looked up the fact that the roof is closed in game 1 and open in game 2.
Yeah.
So there's no line out yet. But especially if there's low scoring in game 1. I think the roof opens up, and I like it. Okay, so I'm going to take the over in game 2. Man, I did not talking myself in all this doubleheader action. All right, one more doubleheader, and Prince of the City lamenting on how long it's taking us to get through the first 2 doubleheaders. Okay, Padres, Giants, 66 Fahrenheit clear, 12 miles per hour out to right center. And we know who is starting in both. We don't know who the opener is for the Giants in game 2, but let's go with game 1. Dinelson Lamet, Tyler Anderson. Anderson being good this year. Padres hit lefties well. 252, 761 OPS. Giants versus righties, 266, 774 OPS. They lost a real nice chance to strengthen their playoff position, the San Francisco Giants, last night in a 5-4 loss. Dropped out of the lead in the NL wildcard race in that 11-inning loss. Anderson, 2-2, 2.56 ERA, 8 career games against the Padres. The Giants got Yastrzemski back just in a pinch hitting role. And Lamet is just so good against San Francisco. 2.07 ERA, 0.87 WHIP, 89 Ks and 65 walks. He looks so good. Game 1, CMac, Padres, Giants, their move to make?
I don't have a line out, do you?
No, but they will confirm that they're starting an opener in game 2 any minute, is what I've heard. So
Padres basically are in the 4 slot. I don't even think they can get the 3, can they? So, but I like Lamet here in game 1. I looked at game 2 maybe with the Giants with Paddock, with how erratic he's been. I don't think he'll make the rotation for the playoffs. Paddock, he'd probably go to the pen. So game 2, if you can get the line out maybe on the Giants, that's the game I'd look to. Probably get plus money on the Giants. Yaz is back, like you said. That's the game I'd look towards. But game 1, he's pitched great. 3-1, 207 ERA, 89 Ks.
So good.
So yeah, so good. So those are my 2 here in this double dip.
Steve Priest wanting to go team total under. Bright Ware says staying off totals. Everyone was screaming Lynn yesterday under. We didn't. We talked about how much the Astros hit Lynn, and that's what kept us off the under. And we cashed on that White Sox first 5 under.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't think we should. Right. I don't think we should. There's still, especially with Noli and all these cappers in the chat, there should be opportunities for us here. And you're right. The Padres don't have a lot to play for. Giants have so much to play for. I'm going to stay off game 1. And game 2, is Paddock vulnerable?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, Paddock vulnerable?
I think he is. He's a kind of a roller coaster. I know he wants to prove himself, you know, because they're saying he could be on the fringe of, you know, I mean, he's definitely going to be out of the pen. I think he's going to be on the roster, but I think they don't want to lose a good arm. They could use him out of the pen in the playoffs, but I think the value standpoint would be game 2 a little bit more if you want to take the Giants, probably at a good plus price. I think they'd probably be at least plus 120 or more. What do you think? Game 2? If I had to.
I think there'll be more.
More, yeah. I mean, probably plus 140 or so.
Yeah,
so yeah.
It wouldn't surprise. That'd be even a minus 130 to the Padres, plus 150 for the Giants wouldn't be. Oh, but it is in San Francisco. I'm looking at game because it's Giants at Padres in game 2, but it is in San Francisco. Maybe I think you're right. Maybe minus 140 plus 120. All righty.
It's in San Fran? I thought it was in San Diego. Or are they just the home team?
They're just the home team. These are.
Oh, okay. I see it the first game. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Well, those are the 3 doubleheaders. It's nice to get them out of the way, and this is them. I can't believe I've got moves on 3 of them. John Rhines, we go in order. So I apologize if you're only looking to hear information on one game. That's going to be further down the list. 3 doubleheaders out of the way. Let's move on to Mets Nationals. Back to 9-inning games here. 67 Fahrenheit, light rain throughout the contest. 6 miles per hour out to center. We made a really shrewd call. The only thing that would have made it more shrewd, talking about how the Braves were going to get stopped by the rain and the travel day, was if we had taken their team total under. It's one thing staying off of a bet. It's another thing when you actually take the other side, which I wish we had have done. But still, it was smart. And here we have light rain again. Is that going to affect Scherzer, whose last start of the year? Joseph Gomez sees plus 157 on Paddock, and that's not going to happen. What book do you see plus 157? I don't have any. Let me just go through. See, I got 30 books here. Yeah, no, I don't have any. There's not. If Paddock and the Padres open up plus 157, he'll get hammered. Steve Priest says Scherzer last start trying to get to the over 500. Lean Scherzer and K's over. Let's talk about Porcello here because he's got bad numbers. 1-6, 5.46 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, but he's pitching quite a bit better. He's only allowed 4 homers in 56 innings this year. He's 3-1 with a 2.67 ERA and 4 career starts against the Nats. In his last start, he looked very good against the Braves team that was smashing the ball. It's 1 run over 7 innings. And Scherzer probably is going to want to finish the season strong. Viper says, I want to fade Porcello so bad. And Cash Action Bet says, Nationals. What are you doing here, my friend? Are you making a move?
Yeah, I want the Bulldog here. Give me Scherzer. You know he's going to want to, like you said, finish this year over 500. It'll be the 11th straight year. I'd rather have him on the ball, and the price is solid. I'll take a -1 here. You know what you get there? Would it be plus 110? You got the calculator there, Jimmy?
I'll pull out the calculator right now. Scherzer opens up at -155. He's now -140. I mean, the Nats have nothing to play for, and the Mets still have a shot here.
That's true. And Porcello has held him to 3 runs in 13 innings. I'm just not a big Porcello fan. He's 1-6 with a 1.46. I want the gamer Scherzer at this price, right?
So,
I mean,
I understand that look for sure.
Spoiler, you know, it's there. It still pros here. I know the Mets are fighting, but.
At Bet365, the money line's -140. The run line's plus 135, which gives you a -102.
Yeah, -102. Okay. Might just take a run. And I'm taking it for sure. I'm going with the Nats here.
There's a couple things. I don't think it's I certainly wouldn't go against you, but there's a couple things that make me uncomfortable. One is the rain throughout the contest, but it's just supposed to be light rain, but throughout the contest. The other is Porcello pitching better than his numbers indicate. Yeah. So this R says Nats have been resting starters. Eaton has been out. Watch the lineups. And
yeah, that's true. Take a look at these lineups.
And by the way, Joseph Gomez was saying that, and we miscommunicated with each other, that it's -172 Paddock. plus 157.
That's right. Yeah.
Which would be a great line for anyone who wants to take the Giants in that game too. I'm not talking you off of it. Are you going to take Nats first 5 or full game?
I'm going to take the Nats full game -1.
Nats full game -1, and Jerry Beatty and Noli talking about the under in the Cubbies game.
The Cubbies game.
Right, we're saying line dropping on Max, and we have CMac on the board here with a -1 on the Nationals. Okay, let's move on to Orioles, Blue Jays. Loved the spot yesterday. This one is trickier with the Blue Jays clinching last night and celebrating. 72 Fahrenheit clear, 3 miles per hour, sideways out to left. Jorge Lopez on the bump for the Orioles. 2-1, 5.11 ERA, 1.30 whip, 37 innings, 27 Ks, 11 walks, 6 homers. Taijuan Walker, 4-3, 2.86 ERA, 1.23 whip, 50 in the third, 46 Ks, 19 walks, 8 homers allowed. And I'm not sure what we're going to get from him. And we got Nate Pearson back in the bullpen, but this bullpen's been beat up of late. 4.64 ERA, 1.49 whip. Orioles bullpen's been good all year long. 3.98 ERA, 1.28 whip. And then they get off the schneid with a big win yesterday. Orioles offense finally gets going. Against righties, they're 261, 757 OPS. Jays, very similar numbers against righties. So is this a letdown spot for the Blue Jays? Why don't we start that? Is this a letdown spot for the Jays, CMac?
I think it is. All teams, though, are different on how they, especially in pro baseball, letdowns are a little bit different. You know what I mean? It's the next day. They've traveled. I had the Orioles last night, and I had the Jays last night. Those were my two wins when I went 2-1. But I'm going to think about this. I like the Orioles, and I might take them first 5. I got plus 160. So Walker's been okay since he's come over. He's had a few rough at it. He's been okay.
He got destroyed by the Yanks. That one game. Other than that, I mean, when he came over at first, he was lights out.
He was.
This does feel like a line that's set up for you to take the Orioles. The Jays -180.
Big price. I think that's that we talked about. I was talking about earlier. That this should have been more like 150, maybe 160. Then I just think it's a little over. So when it comes down to this at the end of the year, usually in a full season, I take really advantage of it. In September's would be the best, taking these dogs. Towards the end of the year, some of these teams that they're out of it, and like the Jays have clinched, like we just talked about, kind of a letdown spot. I'll take these dogs at a huge price. So. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Baltimore here, first 5, plus 160.
Joseph Cohen saying -200 at Fox Bet. We got Boston, Nick. Green Bay Nation also on the Celtics first quarter, -1. Same spot that I'm on. And we got Cole Leon, the Vegas King, rolling with us. Elliot V. Joe Yurkovich. Joe Yurkovich says, big plus price in the total 50-50 game, but you got to go full game. I might go for it. I think you have to take the Orioles. I should say you have to take the Orioles. I think the Orioles are a play here for sure. Does Taijuan Walker want to establish an important spot starting for the Jays in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so. He could be their third guy, their third starter, right? I think. Second or third.
Yeah. God, it feels like a spot for the O's. Okay, I'm going to take the O's full game. Now, is this a spot also where money's going to come in on the Blue Jays? And because I made a mistake betting on the A's too early last night. I know it didn't hurt me because they lost, but is this a spot?
Yeah, I got him plus 200. I took that later. I think so too, because right now my first 5 is the same as full game plus 160. I can get the same exact price.
Because I've got the O's. I've got the Jays at -180.
Yeah, I have 175. Orioles plus 160, and then first 5 I have the same plus 160. And maybe I'll take full game.
Joe Yurkovich says Lopez wants to show off for a job next year. I'm going to be on the Orioles. I just may not bet it right away. I'm gonna if money's going to flood in on the. I don't want to make the same mistake I made yesterday. And there's no need for me to do that, to bet it early.
Yeah, there's time.
Okay, Orioles full game. Let's move on to Phillies Rays. Velasquez versus Morton. Velasquez, man, this guy just takes from my family, you know. When I think he's going to be terrible, he's good. We watched him live when we all went to Miami together for the Low Bag Summit of Champions, and he was staked to a 6-0 lead, and I had him first 5, and he lost the first 5 in front of me.
Wow. Now, you remember that. I'm sure you remember every
Well, I got heavily
run.
Intoxicated so that I wouldn't remember.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, I'm sure you remembered it, though.
Oh, man. Velasquez, 1-1, 5.46 ERA, 1.52 whip. I got half of the money back with Ryu last night, but Velasquez and Ryu matched up last week, and I doubled up on the Jays, and Velasquez was lights out. 1 run over 6 innings. He threw 7 pitches in the first 3 innings and then cut it down. This guy, 2 hits, struck out 6. And Charlie Morton coming back from IL as being okay. I would say just okay. The Rays bullpen is 3.50 ERA, 1.21 whip compared to this Phillies bullpen, 7.17 ERA, 1.83 whip. The Phillies hit righties harder than the Rays. I don't know what to make of Morton this year. Let's see what we're dealing with in Phillies Rays. Rays opened up at -170. They're now -150. This total opened up at 8.5, and some books have moved it to 8. Phillies Rays, you making a move here?
No, like you were talking about Velasquez. What are you going to get from him here? I wouldn't, even at +140. I think you're just taking a shot by betting him. I mean, I wouldn't feel confident in doing it. Could he win? Yeah. And Morton, like you said, he's just been up and down. He's got to be one of their guys here in the postseason. I would stay away from the Phillies. Their bullpen's horrible. I think they've kind of mailed it in a little bit from what I've been watching some of these games. And their bullpen's horrible. So I'm off. If I play here, I'd play the Rays. And if you want to get it down to -1 or even run line, that's where I'd go.
Velasquez just has my number. I'm going to pass on Phillies Rays. Steve Priest is looking to get over this 8 in the Phillies Rays. Phillies 17-9 to the over on the road. It's an interesting look. What do you think of that?
Yeah. Sometimes that ballpark, it can be sleepy and Tropicana Field, catch unders, but I think the Rays team total might be even better. I think they could touch Velasquez easily. I don't know what that's at, 5. I don't think it's 5.5. Is it 4.5, 5? I can look it up.
All right. Adonis Iverson says Phil's trying to win, but just can't. And Joe Yurkovich says you can't take Velasquez or the Phillies on the road.
No, I totally agree.
All right. Let's keep moving. Big Creeker joining us. We got Chuck Hustle. Polo this, polo that, polo this, polo that, like in the under. All right, let's move on to Marlins, Yankees, 72 Fahrenheit overcast, 7 miles per hour sideways across the diamond. Sandy Alcantara going up against J.A. Happ. Happ with good numbers this year, very angry that he didn't get the 10 starts. That would have gave him the $17 million divesting option. And This is his 9th start of the season. The Yanks played him. And he knew it. He knew it all year. He knew it was happening all year. He was talking about it all year. So it's not like he's blindsided by this, but he's got to be upset. He's got to be pissed off. But he's a professional, and he probably wants a job next year. So I don't expect him to, throw the game or anything. And Steve Priest says Happ's been very good lately. He sure has, and he's angry. Coming off his best outing of the year, 4 hits, 9 Ks, and 8 scoreless on Saturday in Boston. 2.59 ERA over his past 4 starts, 24 strikeouts in his last 3. 3-2 with 3.97 ERA in 10 career appearances, 7 starts against the Marlins. Oof. Marlins versus lefties, though. Smash them. When was the last time we said that? 271, 787 OPS. Yankees hit righties hard, 253, 812 OPS. Marlins bullpen bad. Yankees bullpen middling. And a Marlins win gets them into the playoffs. And a loss by the Phillies. So Marlins win, loss by the Phillies. Alcantara throwing nice right now. He was on the IL, 2-1, 2.25 ERA in his past 4 starts. let's see what we're dealing with here. CMac, before I send it over to you. Hap and the Yanks open up minus 180. They're now minus 192. This total at 9.5, juice to the under. Take it away.
The Marlins got so much to play for here. Alcantara's pitched so well on the road, too. Can he keep it up? And this is inflated, I think, this number. I know the Marlins won. Was it final 11-4 yesterday? It's because Braves? I think it was.
4-2?
Oh, it was only 4-2? Okay.
Yeah.
The Marlins are, the value all is right here with the Marlins at plus 175. They got to win. I mean,
I agree, but this is quite a bit of pressure.
It is.
And maybe Noli knows has it right with the first 5 under 5.5.
Yeah, I do kind of. I've already looked at that. I could just see one of them getting touched. That's all. What do you think?
To me, it's Marlins or no bet. So I agree with you there.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. 5.5.
And yeah, I don't think this 5.5 is available in an hour and a half. A couple books have already brought it down to 5. I think that you should make the move on the 5.5 if you're able to. I'm going to write it here in hopes that I can make the move on it after the show. I'm in agreement with Noli, and this is a lot of pressure on the Marlins. And they haven't felt this type of pressure. So, but I agree with you completely that the price is right for the Marlins.
Yeah, I like it too. I got a minus 120.
The Yanks are at minus 200. Bright Ware says Marlins had to travel to New York after Atlanta. Nope.
I was thinking of that. That's what I mean.
All right, first 5 under 5.5. Robert Allen says Marlins is a sexy pick. Sportsman of the Year says I think Yanks come out swinging. And Silence says Marlins are tied beyond belief. Probably 6 hours sleep max. You're going to see that in today's game. Okay, first 5 under 5.5. Man, I hope that is available. And are you going to pull the trigger on the Marlins?
Yeah, I might take that under 5.5 or the Marlins. I'm gonna wait here. We got a few more games.
We do, and we'll revisit. Okay, next up, Red Sox, Braves, Matza, Kyle Wright. Both bad numbers. Both are pitching better. More so with Kyle Wright. So he was 5th overall pick in 2017. We've talked about that often on this show. He's won his last 2 starts. September 13th, 6 1/3 scoreless innings of 1-hit ball against the Mets, and then he beat the Nats. Sorry, let me get this right. Yeah, sorry. His last out on Sunday, 6 1/3 scoreless, 1-hit ball against the New York Mets. Red Sox have won 3 of their last 4. I thought they were rolling, and it cost me money last night. Matza has made just 2 relief appearances against the Braves, 1-0, 1.93 ERA and 4 2/3. So who cares about that? But Matza's been better. But Kyle Wright is pitching well, and the Braves had that blip in the radar with the rain and all that. They could 74 Fahrenheit, 5 miles per hour out to straightaway center. They could come out hitting hard here, but at what price? They open up at minus 160, which is where they are now. This total opened up at 10s, now 10.5. Red Sox, Braves. CMac, take it away.
Yeah, Wright pitched well early on. His command was bad. He did not look well. Mazza, I can't trust him at all. I mean, he's 1-0 with a 1.9 ERA. I think that's only a few games against the Braves. This is a total pass for me. Braves have nothing to play for. The Red Sox have already mailed it in. Just from ripping righties, you could play the Braves, take them on the -1 or on run line, but it's a pass for me.
Ulysses Hayes says take the under in this Atlanta game.
Yeah, I definitely don't I wouldn't. Over 10.5 right now, I want nothing with some of these full game overs.
They have a 2-game lead over the Cubs for the second playoff seed, so they would like to clinch that. Steve Priest says right 4 home runs last 3. I think that John Ryan says Red Sox playing for their jobs. Joe Yurkovich says Kyle Wright only pitched well one time. But we expect Kyle Wright to be – I mean, this guy was such a highly thought of prospect. I like that the Braves were shut down completely last game. I like it.
Yeah, they should swing the sticks. They should get to the Red Sox here, I think.
Let me just see what I'm dealing with here. Minus 160 plus 115. Let me just pop this in and see what that would give me. So minus 160 plus 115 would give me a minus 121 run line. I'm going to take it. Braves minus 1. Travel day for the Red Sox. Braves minus 1. I'm on the board. Let's move on to Pirates, Indians. Man, this Cleveland Indians team is rolling. 74 Fahrenheit, clear 6 miles per hour, sideways in. Cookie Carrasco has been very good of late. Struck out 11 on Sunday at Detroit. 1.41 ERA in his last 5 starts. Jose Ramirez going for the MVP, hitting 483 in his last 8 games. They sweep the White Sox. So they're 1 game ahead of – so they're 1 game behind Chicago and 2 back of Minnesota now, rolling. And now they play the worst team in the league that's playing well, though. Pirates won their 3rd straight. Mitch Keller held St. Louis without a hit for 6 innings on Saturday, was pulled just because he was on a pitch, he had a high pitch count. Pirates don't hit righties, but they hit him yesterday. Indians don't hit righties, but they've been hitting them lately. Interesting spot here, Keller versus Carrasco. Let's see what we're dealing with. Cookie and the Indians opened up at minus 260, then minus 250. This total opened up at 7.5. Couple books have moved it to 8. Take it away, CMac. Pirates, Indians.
Yeah, Carrasco's looked good after kind of the middle of the year. You know, he has a few bad starts there. This is a big start for Keller, though, and a big price. If anyone wants to pull it on the Pirates. They've played a little bit better ball lately towards the end of the year here. And I know they see him as a top guy towards, hopefully next year. Their 2nd or 3rd starter, I'm sure, Keller. So there's a lot of value there, but I don't want to get in front of the Indians. But I just think this is another one where the price is, minus 240 is way, way too high. So
I agree that the price is right for the dog, and it could be a letdown spot for the Indians, but I just tricky to get in front of them. Steve Priest says Pirates unders are 5 in a row to the under. 5 in a row to the under, and yet this has gone from 7.5 to 8. Still 7.5 actually in my book, so the 8s are just coming on the board. Sportsman of the Year going to take a shot with Pirates' first 5.
Yeah.
Wow. Brandon Lugo on the under. Ulysses Hayes says price too high for a money line bet. Yeah, I agree. Barry Smith says Pirates lose today. Their Christmas is over. And Steve Priest says Pirates 2-15 versus AL. Alrighty, Pirates, Indians, no play. No play. I agree with that. Joe Yurkovich said Pitt hit him well last time, maybe again. All right, so I'm going to skip that one. Let's move on to the Battle of Chicago. Cubs, White Sox, 73 Fahrenheit, clear 8 miles per hour, sideways in. Cease against Darvish. Darvish opening up at minus 150, now minus 155. This total opened up at 8.5. It's still there at a couple books. Most have gone to 8. Jin Rummy liking the call Pirates first 5, but says you need to get above 200, plus 200. Let's see what we'd get right now on the first 5 Pirates. You would get plus 190 right now. So on its way. And, money's going to come in on the Indians. So very interesting. Rummy supporting that spot. Sportsman of the Year says maybe. Okay, talking about that Pirates first 5, maybe. All right, let's talk Cease. Steve Priest says 7 walks for Cease last start. 32 walks in 53 2/3. 39 Ks, 32 walks. That's not going to cut it. 3.52 ERA. He's not getting hit. 1.43 whip. He's just walking way too many batters. And when he gets hit hard. 9 home runs in 53 2/3. Going up against Darvish, 7-3, 2.22 ERA, 1.00 whip, 69 innings, 88 Ks. He's been good. Cubs versus righties, 227, 723 OPS. White Sox versus righties, 256, 753 OPS. The White Sox have to get right here. And this Cubbies team has now got no Ian Happ, who tweaked his ankle, and no Chris Bryant, who's got right oblique tightness, Ross would probably be crazy to play them. I mean, you got to make sure that they're healthy. And they've already locked up the playoff berth, but they've lost 3 in a row, 5 of 6. They've scored 2 runs or fewer in every loss. But Cease is vulnerable. And the White Sox are dealing with injuries. Eloy Jimenez left the game due to right foot soreness. And Renteria arrested Luis Robert, who's been so bad this last month. He's been awesome all year. And Nick Madrigal. What do you say here? Cubbies, White Sox, CMac.
Cubs bats have been super cold. I love how Darvish has pitched all year, and I got a 4.5 right here at -115. I'm going to take the under in this ball game. First 5.
So you trust Cease enough?
I do. The way all those guys have out, Bryant. One more day. The Cubs just haven't been swinging the bat, and always knew they're due probably to break out. But it's a 4.5, and at -115, I'm going to take it with Darvish on the mound. It's not a 4, it's a 4.5, so that's why I liked it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go over there here. 4.5s at a pick'em price. The weather is 8 miles per hour sideways in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sold. I'll jump in. First 5 under 4.5. C Price says makes sense. Cubs under 5 in a row. Mr. Goga says makes sense. Steve Dunn says they're not getting right tonight, meaning those Cubby bats. All right, let's keep rolling. And Noli Nose is on the full game under here as well. Oh, Noli, are you not on the first 5, just the full game? Let's see what the first 5 is at 4.5.
Full game's 8 at even money.
Yeah, and it opened at 8.5. So I'll stick with that first 5. Okay, we'll move on to Tigers, Royals, Turnbull, Keller, 79 Fahrenheit in KC. Wind is 11 miles per hour out to left. And good job, those of you guys who got the 8.5.
Yeah.
Turnbull, 4-3, 3.83 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, 51 2/3, 46 Ks, 27 walks. Brad Keller, 4-3, 2.77 ERA, 1.07 WHIP, 17 walks and 48 2/3. Too many and not enough Ks. But he's been good this year, and he had to deal with COVID at the start of the year. Tigers don't hit righties, 227, 665 OPS. Royals don't hit righties, but their offense is starting to heat up a bit, 243, 709 OPS. Tigers bullpen bad, Royals bullpen good. And Gordon announcing his retirement at the end of the season, so his last few games. Keller gave up 4 earned runs on 8 hits and 6 2/3 against Cleveland. And then he tossed a complete game shutout against Pittsburgh on September 13th. Then on Sunday, so these are the last 3 starts. Then Sunday, 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 homers to Vogelbach in 5 innings at Milwaukee. And those were the first 2 home runs he'd allowed all year.
Yeah.
Tricky.
These guys, Keller hasn't pitched bad this year at all. He's been pretty solid. I just don't like this game, period. Turnbull is not a guy I like to back really much at all. Royals have been good for me, but I don't like it right here at this price. It's a pass for me.
Yeah. Interesting spot.
A lot of games here. Yeah, it
Keller
is.
Opening up at -160, now -150. This total was originally juiced to the under 8.5. Now it's juiced to the over 8.5. Yes, the wind is blowing out, KC.
Do you trust these bats? Yeah, I'm just saying, you don't trust these bats for the over. It's just a pass here for me. You know what I mean? On this game. I don't love it.
Royals are playing with some fight here at the end of the year, and Gordon's last few games. I don't want to fade Turnbull.
So, but would you, at that price of Keller, that's why I don't like it. You know what I mean? It's just too much for me. I like the Royals, too. They've been playing pretty well lately. But I just think the price is too high. It's just a pass.
And I don't dislike Ginremi's look on the over 8.5.
Yeah.
But
so weird too.
I'm going to stay off of it. Thank you for the love, Paul Cole. Thank you for joining us. Ari Miller, NBA coming up next. So let's move on to Astros. Oh, and by the way, those of you making decisions on that game, Candelario, lower back tightness. And who knows if he plays the rest of the year. And he's a big piece of the Tigers puzzle. Astros, Rangers, Urquidy versus Kyle Cody. See what we are dealing with here. Urquidy, Kyle Cody. This total opened up at 8.5, and it's moved to 9 at a couple books. Urquidy and the Astros opened up at -170. They're now -192. Cody's been good this year. Small sample size and too many walks. 17 2/3, 17 Ks, 10 walks, but 1.53 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. Urquidy's been good this year too. 2.78 ERA, 1.01 WHIP. Again, with these pitchers, they both walk too many batters, and we're dealing with a small sample size. Steve Priest leaning Astros, Rangers under 9. Astros versus righties 244, 730 OPS. Rangers versus righties 209, 634 OPS. Both bullpens weak. Astros hit 4 home runs yesterday. Magic number, second place in the AL West is 1. And man, if these Astros go on a run through the playoffs, how angry will fans be? Will MLB be? Bregman finished a single shy of the cycle yesterday. He's rolling. Springer, Altuve, Reddick hit homers. Their offense has been so dormant. Urquidy, 3 straight quality starts. And one of them was against Texas on September 15th. 1 run, 3 hits, 7 Ks, no walks over 7. He's 2-0 with a 1.298 ERA and 2 career starts against the Rangers. And Cody has pitched just 3 innings. 3 innings against the Astros and 1 run on 4 hits. Very interesting situation. Tori Coker says Astros run line. I love it. John Ryan says, are the Astros playing for anything? John Ryan's. Yeah, John Ryan's. They are. They need to clinch. And they just need 1 win to clinch, and they probably want it here. Take it away, CMac. What do you think here, Astros, Rangers?
Yeah, the only play would be the Astros. They've been starting to heat up, and they've bogged me all year. I haven't been really great backing them, The bats seem to be picking up. Guys are getting healthy. This would be a spot to clinch, so it's Astros. But, the run line's I have -115. That'd be the only look here. The Rangers just can't hit a lick. That'd be the only way to go here. Be the Stros.
Joe Yurkovich says these teams are getting a second look at these young pitchers.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep Cody will go, though, depending on his pitch count. I don't know,
Yeah, I don't expect them to go deep at all. Very interesting spot here. I guess Houston's all the way up to -192. I missed my chance. To get them. Let's just see what exactly I get on the run line here with these Astros. -192, -120. That's way too juicy. All right. I'm going to stay off this spot. Astros, Rangers. Let's move on to Reds, Twinkies, Molly versus Barrio. 74 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy. 7 miles per hour, out 2 straight away center at target. Reds, 29-28. I'm on their season win total over, and the only way I get that is if they sweep the Twins at target, which I don't think is going to happen. Reds versus righties, 212, 727 OPS. Twins versus righties, 245, 782 OPS. Reds bullpen, 4.72 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Twins bullpen being great all year, 3.56 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. Cincinnati 9-2 over their last 11, making a big push here. Molly 2-1 with 3.10 ERA over his last 5 starts, but Barrios has been so good of late too, 3-0, 2.05 ERA over his 4 September starts. He looks very good. Cincy mini Barrios opens up at -150, now -145. This total at 8.5 at a pick'em. What do you say, CMac?
I'd go with the Twins here. Barrios is pitched really, really well. I need the Reds. I have the Reds under, so I'm not going to touch this game's season total. I need them to lose. It's -145. It's not enough for me to play, but that'd be my lean. That'd be my lean in this game. Barrios has pitched a lot better as of late, and I just think the Twins are a way better team. I can't trust the Reds. They got a little hot here last week, 10 days. Kind of got up to 500, but it's a pass for me.
Mr. Gokster's play today here is Cincy mini first 5 under 4.5. What do you think of that?
Yeah, both these guys I don't trust well enough. It's a good look, but I'm off it. Twins have been great, first 5 unders, but I'm off it.
Play of the day for Mr. Gokster is this first 5 under. And if I wanted it, 4.5, it's juiced to the over. Steve Priest taking the full game under. I'm going to think about that for a bit. First 5. This is such a nice day in Minnesota. Okay.
It's all about how these two pitchers, Jimmy, get usually once they get going, they're better as this game goes on. Sometimes these guys can get touched early. Both these guys. So if they get their first inning or two clean, they can go 6 scoreless, 7. They pitch really, really well.
Look at that record, 23-5 at home. Wow. All right, Matt Randall in the house. Taint parlay. Nice. Parlay. St. Louis game 1, Minnesota full game under. Taint parlay, and he's watching Briggsy right now. Please give our love to big old Briggsy.
Yeah.
Big old Briggsy. There you go. Matt Randall, Taint play of the day. Paul Cole on Twins run line. And look at these numbers towards the under. Wow.
Yeah.
4.5 is all we'll need. 4.5. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and hum and haw. JT says hopefully Barrios Command is on tonight. I like the kid, but sometimes he's off with his control. Wonder what Noli Knows thinks of this under here, Reds Twinkies. Love to hear. He's in our chat right now. All right, we have 2 games left, and then we move on to NBA. Let's go. Angels, Dodgers, 77 Fahrenheit clear, 5 miles per hour out to right center. Angels, Dodgers, Heaney, Kershaw. Kershaw and the Dodgers opened up at -230. They're now -210. This total opened up at 8.5 and is now at 8. Angels versus lefties, 239, 733 OPS. Dodgers versus lefties, 245, 746 OPS. Angels bullpen being started the year so badly and has been much better in the second half of the season. Dodgers bullpen, 2.81 ERA, 1.05 WHIP. Angels have won 6 of their last 7, 14 of their last 20. Too little, too late, but saved Madden his job. Heaney 1-2, 4.91 ERA, 5 career starts against the Dodgers, 12 career starts against the Angels. Kershaw 7-2, 2.45 ERA, 94 strikeouts, and 84 in a third. He's just so good against them. What do you think here, CMac, Angels, Dodgers?
Yeah, I got to pass here. This is the strange thing. Angels can't hit lefties. Kershaw's pitched great. He's looked great lately. 6-2, 2 gave up 1 run. I think it's 6 or 7. His last start. And Heaney's pitched really well lately. Dodgers don't hit lefties. It's just not a game. You can't take the Dodgers at -205. I know everyone on the run line, but I'd be a little hesitant with Heaney. The Dodgers are better these days. They got more right hand with Betts and Pollock. Turner's back. They hit lefties better. But it would be Angels. I'd take them at this price with Heaney or pass.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I agree with that. And it'll be a pass for me.
Yeah, because Kershaw's on the button. That's the only And the Angels can't hit lefties. So
yeah. Steve Priest says Kershaw outside shot at Cy Young with an outstanding start tonight. He may want to rack up Ks. I think if the Reds get into the playoffs, and Bauer should get if they need him, another short rest start. But I hear you. Clayton Kershaw's been great. 2.15 ERA, 0.75 WHIP. All righty. Angels, Dodgers is a pass. And then the final game on the card, Mariners, A's, 64 Fahrenheit clear, 9 miles per hour out to left center. Kikuchi, 2-4, 5.93 ERA, 1.32 WHIP for Yusei Kikuchi. Chris Bassett, 5-2, 2.57 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. Mariners versus righties, 242, 714 OPS. A's versus righties, 224, 716 OPS. Mariners bullpen, terrible. A's bullpen, very good. Kikuchi, 0-2, 3.33 ERA in 5 career starts against Oakland. His best start of the year came against the A's. 6 scoreless, 3 hits, struck out 9. But you just can't trust the guy. Bassett, 2.57 ERA, he's been very good. Not being very good against the Mariners, 1-4, 4.17 ERA. You know, the future I was most confident. The future I was most confident on was the Mariners under 24.5 wins. They're sitting at 25-31 right now. Mariners, A's. Let's see what we're dealing with from a market perspective. Kikuchi, Bassett. Bassett opens up minus 200 where he stands. The total opened up at 8.5. It's now at 8 or 7.5. What do you think here, Mariners, A's, CMac?
Yeah, that drop I didn't like. They jumped right on it, the 8.5. Already shaded down, like you said, to 8. Yeah, Kikuchi. I can't trust him. He did throw well that only start against the A's. I saw him his last start against the Padres. I watched that game. He got touched up. He looked like his normal self. And and Bassett has been great all year. So it's a pass. They're minus 205. It's just way too inflated of a price. It's a pass for me. And there's no value on the over/under here, I think.
Unless you want to squeak over it now. If it goes all the way down to 7.5.
Yeah, I agree. Kikuchi give up 5 or 6 in his own. Sure.
It's at 8 right now, minus 105. Huh. I wonder if we should go over that. You know what? The big market move's got to be there for a reason. And it's the Coliseum in Oakland, tough place to pitch. But Paul Cole liking that over 8.
Chapman's still out though, right?
Chapman's done for the year.
Yeah, so he's gone. So I don't like the A's lineup as much without him in it.
Jake Lamb looked good.
Still an okay team, but
yeah, Jake Lamb looked good for a handful of at bats, but then looks like the reason why the Diamondbacks got rid of him. And Joe Yurich says Bassett at home is a monster. Okay. Steve Priest on the Oakland -1 line. Alrighty, that is your MLB card. CMac, can you please review your action?
Yeah, I got the Nats -1. I'm waiting here, but I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that Colorado, the first game, at +155. I got the Orioles. I'm going to take full game +160. And the Cubs, first 5 under 4.5. And the only one I'm going to think about is that Marlins game. Both the under 5.5 and maybe taking them as a dog. So that's my only question mark I'm going to think about.
I am going to back the Cardinals in game 2 of the doubleheader, and we spoke to all the reasons why. And I will do it regardless of what happens in game 1. But I'm going to keep an eye out on what goes on with the market there. Then I'm going to take the Rockies in game 1 with Senzatella. I just don't know if I'm going to do that first 5 full game. I just think there's too much value there. And then game 2, I'm going to take the over. We talked about this strange day in Arizona. Game 1, roof closed. Game 2, roof open. And Santos and Clark, I think, are vulnerable. It's Sonny Griffin's birthday. He said, it's my birthday. Got to make some birthday money. Happy birthday, Sonny. Thank you for joining us.
Happy birthday. I'm going to look at that too, Jimmy, real quick. That after that game 1, to see how it goes and opens up, I might look at that over for the game 2.
Yeah, I think so. A. Miller says Brewers game pitcher change. They just switched the order of the pitchers for the Brewers. So Suter's now game 1.
Okay.
Then the Padres Giants double dip. I'm off. Mets Nats. I'm off. I am going to take Orioles full game against my Jays. And when I don't mean to get people too excited about the spot, but when I faded the Jays this year, it's been very successful. I'm going to take that first 5 under 5.5 Marlins Yankees. I have a sneaking suspicion that it won't be available when I go to bet it. I'm going to take the Braves -1. Pirates Indians, I'm off. And then the Cubs White Sox first 5 under 4.5. I'm in. And then the last spot on the card is I will go with Mr. Gogster. First 5 under 4.5 and Reds Twins. Mr. Gogster, I wasn't able to bet your Giants score first yesterday because when I went to bet it was -145 on Giants score first. And I know you got it at -110, and I just couldn't take it at the 35-cent change. All right, that is my MLB action right there. Beautiful. Nice work, CMac. All right, let's move on to NBA. NBA, we're rolling nice right now. 22 games over 500, 165 and 143, hitting 53.6%, up 9.42 units. ROI plus 3.06%. Average line minus 108. And we've been figuring out what angle we have the most confidence in the last two games and easily cashing these bets. And I'm going right back to what I think is the easiest angle in this game, and that is the Celtics first quarter. And I paid the dime at minus 120 to get them minus 1. Robert Allen says Miami getting beat by 2 tonight, so give me the Heat plus 3. Tight stuff there, Robert. Let's talk about pace here. East Finals Game 5, Miami up 3-1. Both teams, very similar pace in the 8 seeding games in the bubble, both just over 100 possessions a game. Playoffs, it went down. Heat, 96.79 possessions a game, Celtics, 95.7. And the series has gone down even more, down to 94.78 possessions a game. Let's see what we're dealing with from an odds perspective. Here we go. This total opened up at 213.5 and is now at 213 at some books. Some are still hanging the hook. Boston opens up at minus 2.5. There is a 3.5 on the board. The rest are 3s. Miami's never lost a playoff series in which it led 3-1. They were 3-1 up over the Bucks. And they took care of business. Last time the Celtics were down 3-1 was against the Bucks. And Milwaukee closed out the best of 7 in the next game. That was last year. The Heat have managed 3-1 series leads, a 3-1 series lead here, and some of these, like, they're getting outshot. They're getting outshot on threes. They're getting out rebounded. But because of the Celtics turnovers, the Heat are getting 6 more shots a game. And when these series is so close and these games are so close, that extra 6 shots a game is going to give you a 3-1 series lead. They forced 16 Celtics turnovers a night, and they're only committing 11.3 of their own. Then they have this heroic effort by Hero, who goes off for 37 points. Only Magic Johnson, I guess I got to say Magic Johnson because MJ's Michael Jordan. Only Magic Johnson of the Lakers in Game 6, 1980 NBA Finals has scored more as a 20-year-old. Hayward got season-high 14 points, and Tatum showed a ton of heart in the second half after a scoreless first half. When I look at how close this series is being, there's only one move to make, and that's to take the plus money. And that's what most cappers have been doing throughout this series, and they're being richly rewarded. It's what most cappers were doing in the Milwaukee Bucks series between the Heat and the Bucks and the Raptors Celtics. These teams are so close, just take the plus money. And if you've been doing that throughout, you're making a ton of cash. The best angle for me, Celtics come out fired up, come out angry. We saw Jimmy Buckets say that they had to stop these double-digit leads that they were giving up, and they went and did it. Do they feel good about themselves up 3-1? We'll see. I like Celtics first quarter -1. I think it's a really nice spot. What's your look here, CMac?
That'd be my only look, too, because this series is so close. It's just it's hard to argue to take the Celtics at -3.5, and the books keep putting it out there. I would take the 3.5 points with the Heat all day. Do you know what I mean? It's just how it's been, the extra possessions of basketball you were talking about. The only thing is the Heat have been digging themselves a hole. They didn't last game, but they have been. And the Celtics have been running out all playoffs early. So I like your first quarter look, and I don't do a lot of first quarters. But they got to be pissed off. They got to come out fired up, right? I mean, this is it. You got to win here. So I like your look first quarter. Full game, 3 points is a lot. And these teams are so close. You're going to tell me in such a tight game that you'd rather take -3.5 than getting 3.5 with the Heat who have won. So that's my kind of breakdown on the game. What do you think?
Well, the only difference that I would do is I wouldn't take the points. I would take the plus money.
Yeah, yeah. You could just take them. Yeah,
It's just been working. It's just been working.
Yeah.
Now, you also don't want to be late to the party. So if you haven't been taking these plus money lines, like Dennis Garcia's taking the Heat money line, through every game of the Bucs series and every game of the Celtics series. If you haven't been doing that, you're probably late to the party. Then maybe take the points. But Red Girl saying Heat. Robert Allen says the series is just plain over. Robert Allen was with me on that in Game 4. Robert Allen jumped with me on the first quarter under at 52.5. It moved up to 53.5, and Robert Allen had the big balls to double down against the market move. So huge respect to Robert Allen for believing in the spot that much. I love it. Dutch Boy Fresh, Tatum over 26, Hero under 17. And Prince of the City saying the same thing about Hero. Well, just saying he's not going to score 40 again tonight. Prince of the City liking Marcus Smart points. Let's take a look at the player props here. But if every time a basketball player had a career high night, you took them on the under the next game, he'd be wealthy.
Yeah.
He'd have been very, very successful. And there's a recency bias where all these guys see Hero being magical and take him on the over again. And the books make a lot of money with that. So, and Shaft says, looks like FanDuel is hanging Celtics first quarter -0.5. But they're going to get a lot of money from that. I've got 1.5 at Bet365 now. Brightware says, told you coaching is winning the series. Antoine Seymour says, don't overthink it. Heat money line. I agree. It'd be Heat money line or pass. But I think that these Celtics have a ton of heart. And I'm not saying that the Heat don't, because they have a ton of heart too. These are two great basketball teams. But I don't want to sit here and say, look, I don't want to be late to the party, and it would not surprise. Would it surprise you if the Celtics step up and win this game tonight?
Exactly. I mean,
let's go to the player prop spot here. So first off, we look at what props are juiced. So Tyler Hero's point total is down to 15.5. 15.5 after 37 points. I mean, the books are begging you to take the over, but it's juiced.
Yeah.
Minus 145. But that was up to 17.5. That's just been coming down. Jaylen Brown points at 20.5, juiced to the under. Hayward at 13.5, juiced to the under. Marcus Smart at 12.5, juiced to the over. Okay, let's talk about this first off. If there was one Boston Celtic that you think would have a really big night, CMac, who would that be?
I think it's got to be Tatum. I mean, he's got to be the guy, I think. Right?
When you were watching him in the first half, did you think he was banged up?
I don't know. I couldn't. He just looked so out of it, and then he just turned it on in the second. It was just so strange. But he's got to be the guy to me. He's got to be like Kobe. He's got to be the best player on the court for them. What do you think?
I thought Nasty Nate's Tatum Spanish tonight. I thought something was wrong with him physically, and then his heart stepped up, and so I don't know. I mean, obviously these guys are in some sort of pain.
Of course, Kemba can take a game over if he gets hot, but Tatum's got to be to me, he's the best player on their team. Right? He's got to be the guy. He's got to take more shots. He's got to put himself. He can't have a half like that. They will lose again. Even after, you know what I mean? He just can't play like that. So he has to be the guy. He's got to be the number one guy.
Every single player prop for the Celtics points is heavily juiced to the under, except for Marcus Smart. He's the only guy that's not heavily juiced to the under. And I know we're focusing right now on the Celtics player props. We'll go over to the Heat player props. But let's just take a look at what happened last night with 2 nights ago with these Celtics here. Marcus Smart goes 3 for 12 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3. Gets 11 assists. Just 2 boards. Does Marcus Smart bounce back after a 3 for 12 performance from the field?
I think he does. And he's got to be so big on the defensive end. Maybe that's taken away from his shot a little bit. I mean, to me, he's not. He's not a dynamic scorer, but he's a solid player, and he's not scared to shoot the rock. He's not scared to shoot the 3. That's he's not gonna. So I think he'll shoot. He'll get his. If he's got it, he's open. He's shooting. So I think that's a look. We're Smart, but like you said, he's got to do so much on the defensive end that. What's he
too? Because we've got injuries with the Heat. They're talking about Crowder, but Bam hurt his wrist, and they're both talking about that there. But Dutch Boy Fred sees a bounce back spot from Tatum, 30 plus.
So do I.
I'm expecting. I think that you're talking about Tatum, Dutch Boy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, says the Tatum Brown show. Wow. Very, 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 very interesting. Okay.
Here's a Jimmy Butler. You have 19 over 19 and a half is plus 100.
In these big games, I guess I get nervous expecting Jimmy Butler to score a whole bunch of points. Especially now, if Hero doesn't light it up, that Jimmy will score if the other guys aren't rolling. But he does so much.
So much else. Yeah, he does get to the line. That's where that could come into play. That over 19 and a half plus 100.
Wow. Okay, so let's say we move over to points, assists, and rebounds and see what we're dealing with here. Marcus Smart at 21 and a half and juice to the under. And even when Marcus Smart goes 3 for 12 from the field, he got over that because of the 11 assists. 21 and a half for Marcus Smart seems like he can get over it. Yeah. Oh, wow. This is
you want to take this Marcus Smart? Is that what you're thinking about?
I am thinking about it, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I really like Celtics first quarter, and I'm going to leave it at that. Kevin Riley says, how you doing, Jimmy? Hit big on the horses yesterday. When you coming back playing these horses? Preakness, Saturday, October 3rd. We're going to do a full day of horses.
Be there.
Pedro Barbosa says, guys, Celtics and Miami are 441. How is Miami 3-1 ahead? Because Boston can't close the game. In this situation, the Heat are in a comeback spot. In the fourth, I'll take Heat all day. Heat, money line for Pedro Barbosa.
The Heat have looked better in crunch time. In the second half, in the fourth quarter, they've been the better team, period. And you know what? The Heat would falter. During the regular season, the Heat were a great first half team. They were, they would give up leads a lot in the fourth quarter because I had them a lot. They'd, on a, let's say, -6 or something, and they'd win by 4, and I'd be like, they blow it. So they're playing great second half ball and closing out games. So I got to give it to them with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jimmy. It's Jimmy Butler. When he looks at you and he looks at you like MJ, Michael Jordan, like Michael Jordan looks. He gives you that look where it's not quite as scary as Michael Jordan. When Jordan looked at his teammates, I mean, it was you knew you had to step up immediately, or your life would be hell. Like he would make your life a living hell if you didn't step up. But Butler has some of that same energy. Rude Jude says, I'm seeing Marcus Smart at 12.5. Yeah. Okay. I am making one move only. Rude Jude, 21.5. That's points, rebounds, and assists. So, okay. There we go. Celtics. First quarter. -1. Jerry Beatty says the under is a good look. Very physical game for both teams last time out. There's Fat Wally. The Preakness is my weakness.
Fat Wally.
I love Fat Wally. The under is a good look, says Jerry Beatty. Why don't we close on the total here? 213.5 now at 213. The issue, the sort of a funny thing with these totals for me is that pace has not dictated the score because these teams are in the bubble. They're not traveling. They're practicing all day, and shooting percentages have gone way up. So that's made it a little trickier than in the regular season in pre-COVID times.
Yeah, I agree.
So I was on that first quarter under in game 4. It cashed by 7, but the full game went over by what? 8 or 9 because they put up 65, 60. What's happening is because of that 3 days rest, they were ready to go late. Now they're a little beat up. So I'm going to stay off this total. Are you going to make a move on the total at 213, 213.5?
No. I want to lay off it. If I play it, how the series is gone, it's gone a little bit shaded toward the over, as the series before with the Raptors Celtics, it was under.
Mm-hmm.
This series, it seems it's just going over a bit, these totals. So it's set pretty well, the number, I think, books set it right, but I'm not liking the total here.
Robert Cherry liking the under. I do like the under. Robert Allen said this game's going under.
The Celtics got a D up. I mean, so.
Oh, Robert Allen says could be a sneaky over. I would, if I had a free play, I'd make bet the under for sure. But
yeah,
and by the way, Torrey Coker trying to get us off says Heat win first quarter. I would love to take this under here. I guess. See, you can't even. It's so funny. I would say, take the first half under. But if this is a very close game, then the second half will be the lower scoring half. If one team is up by 12 or 13, and that team is, let's say, the Heat, the Celtics will start firing threes nonstop and close the gap. Torrey Coker, I've already bet it. I bet it last night, so I've got Celtics -1. And I like it a lot. So I'm going to leave it at that. If I had a free play, I would move on the under. Shannon Nicholas says, how about the over on the first quarter? Yeah, that now, but the issue is same as what I had why I didn't take the over last night. And I should have obviously taken the first quarter over and not just Lakers first quarter. But my issue is if the Celtics come out so aggressive defensively and hitting their threes, then I'm worried about the Heat pulling their part. So then we look at team totals. Then you have to go to the team totals for the first quarter. And you know what? I'll do that right now. I'll check that out. But what do you think about Celtics team total? Again, if they're coming out really aggressive defensively, they don't need to run the ball down the Heat's throat, because if Hero's out on the floor, Duncan Robinson getting hot, I mean, they have to defend the perimeter with all of their might.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that scares me. All right, let's see here. First quarter team total is Celtics 28.5. I can win the Celtics first quarter without that. So
I agree. I don't want to touch that.
Ari Miller says thoughts on prop Tatum 9+ first quarter points at +300. It's a fun bet if you want to bet small, like a very small little fun bet to add to the enjoyment of the game. And I do expect Tatum to play well, but I couldn't figure out what was going on with Tatum last out. But he's a baller. All right, official play in NBA. CMac, what are you doing?
I'm on the first quarter with you, the Celtics, and I will be betting in game in this game for the afterwards. So,
and what
that's my luck here.
What will you be looking for live?
We'll see. I'll be looking towards the Heat. Hopefully the Celtics are up again at half and I can get a number and go with the Heat. I don't know. I pull the trigger. It all depends. You got to be watching the game. You know, I love getting numbers when there goes on a run and you could get a big plus, you know what I mean? Plus number. But everyone that's on the Heat plus 140, I agree. Take it. How can you go wrong? You know, there's nothing wrong with it.
Von Polo, lots. You can just go right to Will Hill site, you know, or there's lots of different spots. I'll DM you here. Okay, there you go. Next up, NHL. Let's go. Lightning versus Stars. Game 4. Tampa Bay now up 2-1 in the series. That Lightning was an easy casher in Game 3, and it made it so easy because all of the trends said Dallas was going to bounce back because they'd done that all year. But I was telling everybody the last 15 minutes of the third period in Game 2 pumped up the Lightning enormously. And then they were going to get Stamkos back, which we weren't sure of. Yeah. But that worked right into the cap, and this made it, knowing everybody was on Dallas to bounce back, and the Lightning were going to win easily, and it was a great cash. And I'm uncomfortable in Game 4. I'm very uncomfortable. What Stamkos did, that goal was unbelievable, and then he hurts himself again. When did he hurt himself? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Celebrating? Jumping? I don't know.
Celebrating? Yeah.
So what he did will go down in Stanley Cup lore forever.
Comes out. Yeah.
It was incredible. It was magic. It was just this snipe job. It was just like, it was one of the coolest things. It reminded me of the Paul Kariya slap shot top corner after Stevens had knocked him out.
Yeah.
And he came back, which he shouldn't have, which would never happen now. And he snipes it top corner, and like it was that kind of a snipe job. The key players of the Lightning are stepping up: Kucherov, Hedman, Point, Palat.
Yeah.
Khudobin allows 5 goals on 29 shots, gets pulled. Khudobin is really showing that he's a heart and soul guy, and so it wouldn't surprise me if he bounces back. But we know that there's a goaltending edge for the Lightning in Vasilevsky. Radulov is – the Lightning are getting in his head. He's taking bad penalties. Tyler Seguin is, you know, just an ass clown.
He's nowhere to be seen, I think. Yeah.
Shocking, yeah. So we talked about what a big loss it was with Como and Fax out of the lineup for the Stars. That hasn't changed. You're not getting Seguin to step up. Jamie Benn still believes in his squad. Heiskanen is a special, special player. But I don't want to take the Lightning in Game 4. And I certainly don't want to back the Stars. And then you move to the total.
Yeah.
And even there, I'm actually leaning to the under. I'd love to hear your breakdown, and then I'll have a better idea if I'm going to make a move, if anything. Why don't you take it away, my man?
I lean to the under here. I think the Stars, that's the only way they can win here. I don't think they want to get in a shootout with the Lightning. And I don't know how much the Stars could do that. This game, I think the Lightning are going to win the Stanley Cup. I think they're feeling it, that it's just 2 games away. And I want to take the Stars here, of course, at this plus 140. And I'm having a tough time doing it because this would be the game. If, you know, this would be it, I think. If you go down 3-1, it's going to be very difficult. They could win Game 5, but this would be the look,
Well, I said something similar to what you were saying after that 15 minutes of the third period in Game 2 when Dallas needed to come back and they put up 2 shots on goal. I was like, look, the Lightning know Stanley Cup's 3 games away, 3 wins away.
Yes. Yeah.
But then all of a sudden everything works out for the Lightning. They have the magical Stamkos moment. I don't expect him to come back. I think he's really hurt. And now, and it wouldn't surprise me also the Stamkos because they're hiding it. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a completely different injury, right? Because he hadn't played in so long, and then you pull a hammy or it's not necessarily what he's been dealing with for the last 4 months or whatever it is, but it just everything came together for the Lightning, and
did.
I don't know if I want to. So I guess if it came to a total, I would lean to the under 5.5, 5. Excuse me, at the plus 120.
The Stars got to really try to bully him. Check it. That's what I think. To win the game that we're talking, do you know what I mean? I don't think they want to get into shots fired, and that's not their. That's not who they are. Nobody's played well. Jamie Benn has played pretty well.
He has.
For this playoffs, he's stepped up.
Yeah,
but Seguin, like you said, hasn't. I mean, he's done.
He's played what you would expect from your.
Expect him. Very. Yeah. That's. Yeah. That's better. Yeah.
Johnny K says every first period over is cash so far. Johnny K, my interest would be the under first period, but again, you need to be rewarded, and the minus 130 is not it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get into college football next. Mr. Ghost says Ben has never looked so good in his career. I disagree. JR says, Jimmy, are you on Rockies game 1? Let's just finish off. But yes, I am on Rockies game 1 and the over in game 2. So I know this sucks to hear. And look, I don't, I'd like to have action on all these big games, but we are on a nice run in NHL. So we've hit 6, 7, 8. So we've hit 10 of our last 15, but in that 10, of those 10 wins, 8 have been plus money. And we're now up 1.5 units on the year. I can't believe it's that shitty. ROI 0.53%. And it's a Lightning or no bet. And it's just like when you don't want to back a Tyler Hero prop after he goes off for 37 and only Magic Johnson has done that as a 20-year-old. Everything went right for the Lightning. It was a magical game 3, and I don't want to bet them here. Steve Priest, Kucherov scores a goal plus 200. Steve Priest, I'll always believe and be pretty adamant that we're not getting the proper number on those, and that for Kucherov to score a goal in game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, you should get a better number than 2-1. That's what I think. Detroit Watt says Hedman scores. Hedman 10 goals in the playoffs. He's been awesome, just awesome. So no play for me in NHL, and I wish it was different, but I'm not just going to give you out a play for fun. I bet them, and I want to win badly. So, CMac, any official action for you?
No, I'm the same reasons you are. If I had a free bet, I'd take the Stars, and I'd lean under. Sorry. I mean,
you know what? I guess if there was one thing, I guess I could take a team total. Dallas under 1.5 goals at plus 195. I could see.
I wouldn't bet that, but
I could see. I don't think Dallas is going to be scoring. If this goes over, I think it's because of the Lightning.
Yeah, I think if it goes over, the Lightning are scoring 3 or 4. They're at least.
All right. So I do have some interest in that Dallas under 1.5. But not going to move it. Okay. So no move in NHL. Let's go on to NCAA football. Perfect guy to have on the show for it. Conor Mac is one of our college football experts here. Conor Mac has shows on Wednesdays and Saturdays here at odds.com. Let's talk about it. Middle Tennessee at UTSA. This is at the Alamo Dome. Let's see what we are getting from an odds perspective and then break this down. It was an easy casher on the over yesterday. It was funny. Before the show, I was telling Noli, I was like, the total's down to 45.5. That's ridiculous. I want to take the over. And then by the time I talked about it, it had already gone up a point to 46.5. Other people felt the same way. It was a very easy casher. We both cashed. I cashed on the over, and then Noli cashed on UAB first half. And I should have jumped on UAB first half because I was telling you that, and I didn't want. Maybe I spent 7 or 8 minutes watching Lucero clips and a couple of interviews of him, but I was like, this kid's ready for this. Let's go to Middle Tennessee UTSA here, and you know what's funny, CMac? I've made 3 bets in college football so far this year, and only UAB games. Only 3 UAB games. That's what's happened to college football.
Well, UAB. You know UAB football now.
I do. Middle Tennessee UTSA. This total opened up at 58. It's up to 61.5 for 62. UTSA opens at -6.5. There's 1-7 on the board. My first instinct, and look, this is probably a bias because of what happened yesterday, is why would this total go up that high? That's my first instinct. Let's talk about it here. Clearly, Jeff Traylor has the Roadrunners rolling. Overtime win against Texas State. Then they beat SFA 24-10. They're averaging 498 yards of offense. Their running game is being completely dominant. Sincere McCormick has looked awesome. Frank Harris, he's going to move the ball. UTSA right now averaging over 5 yards per carry. They're averaging 279 rushing yards per game. So there is 2-0 UTSA. Now let's talk about Middle Tennessee. So absolutely nothing's gone right for this squad. And now they have to travel on a short week. And at first I was like, oh, that's awful. Everything's going wrong. They can't get any. They're looking terrible. O'Hara's off to this terrible start. And then what happens is maybe the short week and travel is good for them. Maybe wipe the slate clean. Let's get on the field 3 days later. Maybe. They were beaten by Army and Troy badly. 40-plus points each, 400 yards each game. Probably see Chase Cunningham because O'Hara's being so bad. They can't move the ball through the air or the ground. On the ground, they're averaging just 81 yards a game. And O'Hara's their leading rusher with 7 carries for 40 yards. Chris Al says Middle Tennessee, top 5 worst teams in the country. Puneet says offensive line for Middle Tennessee is trash. But he's saying they're okay defensively. So you take it away, CMac. You've been studying these teams so much closer than me, so why don't you take it away?
Middle Tennessee looks pretty bad this year. And UT San Antonio's looked pretty well. They've moved the ball a lot. I think this total's a little high here. And I think it's 6.5. UT San Antonio is the play. I know I haven't seen anything in Middle Tennessee those first 2 weeks why you would even want to back them with a touchdown. I mean, they could play get it. O'Hare hasn't done anything, and he's been their whole offense, which has been nothing. Their defense has just got holes all over the place. These are 2 small schools. So the only reason why I don't think it would go over is because I don't know if Middle Tennessee could score much. I mean, you know what I mean? This could be a 50, 52-7. I don't know. Something, you know what I mean? 61.5's a little high.
What would Army or Troy do to UTSA?
they would probably beat them, but they would be playing better from what I've seen. It's so early. This is why it's hard to really go at this with everything going on with COVID, the kid, you know what I mean? So, and it's hard to say because this is the best UT San Antonio. They're looking for their first 3-0 start in 3 or 4 years. They're not known as a football school, you know. So I don't have a play, but that'd be my lean.
Why is this not UTSA -9?
That I don't know. But I wouldn't question it. I would just take it. I think so. But I'm not big into this. I don't need to have the action. I got Saturday coming up tomorrow. But that's what I'd be looking at. I haven't seen anything in Middle Tennessee. Anything. But they could move it tonight. Maybe they play in a team like this. Texas State, sorry. They went to double OT. And a lot of people like Texas State in that game, and they lost, and there was a lot of points, 51-48. Maybe Middle Tennessee gets right playing against this defense, this Roadrunner defense. So it's just too many questions for me here, and I'm not going to force anything. What were you thinking?
Well, when a team in college football should be, in my eyes, a much bigger favorite than they are, I stay off a side, or I take the other side. So why is this line not moving? This whole situation is confusing, and when we're talking about small schools and it's confusing, I stay off. Every time that this line has gone to 7, Middle Tennessee's been hammered. And it's gone down to 6.5. It's just so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the under in this football game. It's gone from 58.5 to 62 at some books. I think this is too high. So
it is high. But like you were saying, how much better is Army and Troy than this Roadrunner defense? Maybe Middle Tennessee needs a team like San Antonio. Maybe they'll score a little bit tonight. But total's high. It's, yeah.
All right, well,
I love it.
I'm going to make a move on the under 62. Well, it's 61.5 in my book. I'm going to keep an eye on I'm not going to bet it when the show's over. I'm going to wait, see how high this gets. All right, we have a couple questions. Can you give us a little preview of the college football show tomorrow? And could you maybe give us a best bet or two that you're looking at on tomorrow's card?
Yeah, already I don't have many, but I already took Ole Miss 14.5 at home against Florida. Lane Kiffin got paid a boatload of money. I want the Rebels here over 2 touchdowns at home. I think Florida starts out slow. And this is very weird because all these SEC teams, usually they play Citadel, Austin Peay. They're going straight in to being off to playing each other, which is just really rare. Normally they play those small warm-up games. So, and they're dealing with, and everyone that's check all the COVID on all these teams, because it's a lot different than normal years. So that's my first look. I already bet that. And another one, I'm going with another dog at home. I haven't bet it, but I'm about to, is Texas Tech at home. It's 17.5. Hold on, sorry. Let me find it. I think it's 17.5.
Texas Tech, I can pull that up.
Yeah, I got it here. I can't find it. I haven't bet this one. I've only put in that. Yeah, it's 18. So it's already moved up. I'm taking the 18 with Texas Tech at home. Those are my only two real looks so far, and I got a bunch of other games.
Chris L says Texas Tech running back was just arrested for street racing. Make sure he's playing.
That's okay. They'll put in another guy. Running backs are, unless he's the best in the country, Chuba Hubbard or something. I don't think it's that big a deal. The other big games, a lot of people are talking Florida State, Miami. I don't have much on that. Miami's looked unreal with King in there. 12's a lot of points. How many games, Jimmy, have you seen Florida State, Miami?
Oh,
Blowouts. Man. Blowouts in your time.
Yeah, no, it's
not many.
No, it's tight.
Everyone's going to be down on Florida State. They lost to Georgia Tech at home, but they're rested. We'll see. We'll see how young, Florida State is. I think it's kind of a lot of points, but that's another one. So those are a few. But tomorrow morning I'll have my full slate.
Beautiful.
Full slate rolling.
Beautiful. Love it. So, and what time's that show at?
8:30, 11:30 Eastern.
11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. Love it. There you go. There is a sneak preview of tomorrow's big college football show starring Big Ragu, DJ Big Boss, and Conor Mac. All right. There you have it. We had a question from Birdie for you, CMac, and he wanted to know what you thought of the Broncos. We'll close the show here on the Broncos spot. He wanted to know what you thought of Tampa Bay, Denver. Tampa Bay opening up as 6-point favorites. It's down to 5 at some books, 5.5. There's still 6 on the board, but does Brady struggle a mile high? What's your expectation?
Yeah, this one, Driscoll's the big thing, and he played well. I had the Broncos last week. They covered. I'd roll with the Broncos again. It's dropped though to 5. I'd want every point I could get. I would want it at 6. But I think they have a little trouble. I don't think the Bucs are that good right now. I think that's going to take time with Brady. They played okay, but they got pretty lucky there. I mean, they got some interceptions early. They jumped out to a really big lead, and then they didn't do anything the rest of the game. And, of course, I was on that, Jimmy, me and you, and 50-yard run. And I know, to run the clock out. So, but, yeah, I've already looked at that a little bit. So I'd still lean Broncos with the points at home.
And I'm about to – I was waiting, and I almost put in – I just didn't have time to put in before the show, but I'm just about to take the Eagles -3 first half. Had to wait for it. It's finally here. So that's gone down and down and down. I said on Tuesday, when that gets to -3 first half, I'm going to hammer it. All right. R says the total for the Denver game. Let's go to it quickly, and then we'll put a bow on this show. The total for the Denver game is at 43.5, 43 or 42.5. That's the first 42.5 that's been on the board. What do you think about the total there?
Ooh, I don't like that it's dropped. 42.5. I really don't have a lean there. They got to play. How well will Brady play in Mile High? I really don't have a lean there.
Well, we have our Sunday kickoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern. Myself and Rob Bebenek. Prince of the City says, "Send me the money." Hey, Prince. I mean, it's not fun when we take money from each other. It's fun, but if you want to get lippy, I don't mind betting you. CMac, thank you so much for all of your hard work. Do you mind reviewing your entire action on today's card? Let's start with MLB.
Yeah, I got the Nats -1. I got Colorado game 1 +155. Baltimore +160. The Cubs first 5 and White Sox under 4.5. And the Celtics first quarter -1.5. And I might have a few. That Marlins game I'm going to look at, and maybe a couple others. So that's it.
There you go. For me in MLB, I'm going to be on Cardinals game 2. Waiting for the line and things of that nature. I'm going to be on game 1, Rockies. I'm hoping to do the first 5 instead of the full game.
Okay.
And then game 2 over. And I'm going to bet that as soon as the line comes out, remember the roof is open in game 2. And then for me, next up, I'm off the Padres, Giants. I'm off Mets, Nats. I'm going to take Orioles full game. That might be another spot that I wait to ensure that I don't make the mistake I made yesterday by betting the A's too early. I'll keep an eye on that market move there. The Marlins, Yankees, first 5 under 5.5. I told you guys I don't think this will be available. Let's see right now. You don't want to see me get upset here, do you? Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Fucking great. All right. It's fucking bullshit. Well, good luck, those of you that are on it. Fucking bullshit. Take that bullshit off my fucking. Ugh. All right. Then Braves -1. Oh, that's so irritating. I should have not done that on camera, so I could just punch a wall alone. Cubs, White Sox, first 5 under 4.5. And then Reds, Twins, first 5 under 4.5. I'll tweet these out once I bet them. Then I've already bet Celtics -1 first quarter. And I'm going to take the under in this Middle Tennessee UTSA game. I'm just going to see how high it goes. There we have it. Cuban Connect says we're going to party here in Miami. Heat about to close tonight. Go Heat. CMac, thank you for all your hard work, my man. Have a great college football show tomorrow. Everybody check it out. Watch it. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Stephen Glass, Steve Priest, Cuban Connect, Buzznuts, Viper NB, Detroit What? Prince of the City. Alexi Popovich, Birdie, Mr. Gogster, Intex, Juan Juarez, Jerry Beatty, Shant, Dylan Turner, Turnsy, Viper NB, Mr. Gogster. Thank you guys so much. Canascat, Dennis Garcia, and be sure to go to odds.com. I checked to see if we had Dennis's horse column up, and I don't see it up yet. When it is, I will retweet it. Nice day of horses today on this beautiful Friday. Thank you guys so much. CMac, thank you for all your hard work, my man.
All right, man.
Can you let us out of here?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Leche, los bookmakers. Let's get it.